Hi everyone, my name is Niamo, and welcome back to another episode of the Deadlands. So in between episodes, I stayed pretty busy. Uh, I built a number of farms recently, mostly for the build back here. I'm working on, so far I just built a ring here, but I do have a design, or at least kind of an idea. I built or designed some stuff for this ring. I'm going to build a wall that goes around this guy. And yeah, I'm just gonna make this my base. After last episode, the creeper farm that I put here, it didn't work, so I moved it over there. It's working much better out there. But yeah, so for this wall back here, I needed a number of colors and different shades of colors. And one of those colors was white wool and light gray and green. So as you can see, I've collected quite a bit of those three materials. I've also started using the white wool for an Enderman farm. I built, or I needed like a bunch of white carpet and yeah, to prevent Endermen from just teleporting. And then for this guy, this is my sheep farm. As you can see, I'm getting ready to move the rest of the sheep into these three modules. I've already filled this one. But yeah, for this farm, I needed quite a bit of materials like string and iron. So I had to build a spider farm out there. You can kind of see the platform. It goes down to the farm. And then an iron farm I put back here, just kind of hidden away. So far, yeah, that's working pretty well, but I'll probably build a different iron farm at some point. I just needed that really quick for all the shears that I needed for the dispensers here. But yeah, each little wing here needed 64 dispensers, so I needed a bunch of string for the bows that you use in the recipes for the dispensers. But the string or the spider farm also came in handy for the Enderman farm. I not only needed white wool or just wool for carpets, I needed string to kind of put under the carpet. Yeah, so that came in handy. Yeah, yeah, so I need to get these sheep into their little slices. Oh, here's a slice right there. So I'm gonna get started on doing that, and in the meantime, I'm gonna play a time lapse of the various farms and things I did in between between the episodes. Like found a desert and got cactus, so but that desert is almost 100,000 blocks away. So I've done a couple different mining sessions for the sand and sandstone. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of just make a big time lapse of me putting this farm together and the other farms as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get going on the sheep, and guess I'll see you in a second, or in a good minute. We'll see. Cool. So now that the time lapse is over, I'm sure it was long for a time lapse, but there was a lot that I did in between episodes, and I just wanted to show some progress. And I only recorded them as time lapses. But yeah, so at the end of the time lapse, you probably saw me finish up putting all the sheep in. That took a while. Let me here. So yeah, I knew that like before finishing this up, that each strip here took about 20 minutes each, and there's 16 of these. But I had already completed this one, so by the time the time lapse came around, or at least the end of it, uh, I had these 3 modules to complete. So that's what, 12? So 12 times 20, about 4 hours worth of time. So it took 4 hours to finish all of these. And yeah, I got pretty tired of doing that. I also did it pretty late, so pretty tired by the end of all of that. But moving on from that, I'm gonna go over here now, and I have everything ready to go. Cool. So got all my blocks here for the walls here that I will be placing along this ring. I'll be replacing the stone here with calcite, and yeah, so I have 4 shulker boxes of calcite and concrete powder, snow block, and some wool. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of white in this build, but I also have like grays for stone and green for grass and decorative blocks. But yeah, I'm going to go around this ring, replace the stone with calcite. Then I'm going to add a second layer deep, and then probably build it up in 6 or 7 blocks. Hopefully that's enough calcite. I will, once I'm done building up the walls, I'm going to come back and then carve out some shapes, or like make it more spiky. So I'm going to carve out, let's say, like U shapes in parts of the walls, just to get like a spiky, uh, uh like a spiky look. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to take a little while, so I'll jump back in and just once I'm ready to start carving out those U's. Yeah, I'll just kind of walk through the process of me. I might kind of start with a small portion of the wall so we can kind of work to, or like go through it together. So cool. So I've built out the walls here. In a little bit, I'm gonna start carving out the little U's in the wall. I figured I'd go through maybe a couple or a few iterations, and then finish this off camera because this is gonna take a while. But yeah, this is pretty well centered. If I be here. So the building here, the towers are centered within the chunk, or like, you know, right here, this is the center line, and you know that's oriented on the center. Be like here in a chunk, something like that. And these pillars here kind of just help to frame the build. Um, yeah, in between the last clip and now, I realized I forgot a block. Not that one, this one. I had collected like all the materials, but then I realized I wasn't using like gray concrete. I was using terracotta. Originally, I was gonna use the powder and just make the concrete as I went, but yeah, it was terracotta instead. So I had to go gather a couple shulker boxes of that. Great. I'm gonna kill these guys and jump back in. Alright, so they're dead, and I've drank some milk to get rid of whatever, I can't remember the name of the effect. But alright, I'm gonna start kind of carving out here. I've only done this in creative, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna go here. These pillars here are kind of new. I didn't really have them in the initial design. So far it's looking nice. This will help also reclaim quite a bit of this calcite, which I'll use later, probably. And then to help kind of transition, I'm gonna do that too. Maybe make this a little harsher. Back up a little bit just to get kind of a view of it. Something like that. Maybe make it look a little thinner. Okay. Go down here. Start on the next spike. Good. I don't want to make these dips a little more V-shaped, I guess, rather than U. I'm gonna go sleep. Cool, so let's finish up this spike, I guess. And get some shape, depth. I think this is gonna get a little more challenging as I go, though, to build. I don't have a platform really to stand on as I carve out. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, so you kind of get the general idea of what I'm going for here. You know, I built up the kind of the backdrop with the walls, and the shape is just coming later, like here. And then, like I said, a lot of the calcite I'm not going to actually use. It's just a nice material, because basically what I'm doing is my background color is white, but the colors, like the grays that I'm going to use for the stone, will come later. You know, as I layer on the colors, as if I'm painting. You know, this is my backdrop or my background color, and then grays and greens will be layered on top. It won't really be on top. It'll be more like I kind of take a couple blocks out, I replace it with some gray color or different shades or tones of white. Because I do have, you know, all this different whites here. If I can look at my reference image, I can kind of build out the tone here. Alright, so I built out kind of the color palette here. So greens for like the grass, and then different tones of green, just to go from maybe a lighter green to a darker. And that's kind of to create a shadow. Or at least that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And the colors here, the stone and the green, will kind of go back and forth, because I'll put the green on top of the stone, but then I may have like stone behind the green, which it might be easier to see once I start getting that added. But then I'll go from the stone to the white, and I'll transition from a darker to a lighter color. Yeah, so Yeah, I'm basically going to repeat this all the way around. It'll be interesting to see kind of more in this curve how it's going to transition or how it's going to work there. You know, again, I only designed up to here. We're kind of, you know, yeah, I only designed up to here. So I haven't tried around a bend like this. But yeah, I'm going to probably do that and then jump back in once that's done, and then I'll start adding the different colors like the stone and the grass. So alright, so I've gone around and finished up the wall here. And I'm just gonna fly around and just kind of show it off. Took quite a while. Finished it up this morning. Uh, After I kind of shaped everything out, I went around and added some more detail around the corners of each section, just to make it more smooth. Then I went around the inside and did the same thing. So yeah, now it's time to go around with green concrete and start kind of laying out kind of the grassy parts, I guess. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go around and kind of do this. Right. So looking back at my reference, yeah, so I'm gonna use the green to kind of do some darker shadowing below. Powder will be a little lighter, and maybe do some like light gray terracotta for the stone color. And we'll see. Like, this is gonna take a while to kind of get right, but all right, I'm gonna do this again. So OBS like crashed on me. I couldn't end this clip, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and redo this. So I finished up with the train here. You know, I went around. I first added the grass parts, the green parts, and then after I finished that, I did all the gray parts for the stone. And I'm just gonna fly around and look at this. I'm gonna show you guys. And yeah, this took a little while, about 5 hours in total. I did this off and on. It was quite a tedious task. Like I said in the previous uh, go at this, I had mentioned that I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so this is probably the biggest build I've ever done. Just this wall, all on its own. You know, all it is a wall, but it is probably the biggest project I've done. But yeah, yeah. So I went around. I added the terraining or the terrain here. And then once I was done with that, I did the stone parts. And then this morning, I went around and did like these little parts of the moss, just so I could put down bone meal and get some like flowering azalea or just azalea plants, I guess. And then yeah, I also incorporated like incorporated some of these little nooks around so I could hide stuff back here. Just put like, I don't know, little nice things to just kind of decorate. And then back here, I have this massive cave or opening that I thought in some way I could incorporate this part. So I tried to do a little bit of a larger overhang back here, just for like potentially doing something back here at some point. Yeah, I also have like these little platforms that I did about midway up. But yeah, now that I've finished all the green parts and the stone, I want to go back or go around and basically do this. to all the pillars. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm taking or replacing the calcite here with the gray colors, and then replacing or just basically moving the calcite up a little bit. So all these spikes around that make up the wall, they're all about the same height, but that's going to change as I'm building these up. But the idea was that I'm just using the calcite to get the shape that I want here, and then just go back with the grays. Yeah. After I'm done with all the spikes here, I'm gonna go back um, and do all the detail here. Awesome. So I've gone ahead and finished up the wall here. You know, started from all the way over here, and I ended up, over here at some point last night. Then I was just tired, so just wanted to take a break. So this morning I finished up the wall, and then after I finished up going around, I went around with bone meal and just kind of bone mealed some of the moss down here at the ground level and up here at kind of the mid level. I guess there is a mid level and then the top level. But after I bone mealed, I took some leaves and some coral and some other blocks and just went around and decorated. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the wall here. Looking pretty cool. But kind of the intended angle here, over here, pretty cool. But over here, just dead on. I think it would look cool if the house wasn't there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna tear the house down at some point. Next episode, I'm planning on putting a road around the ring here, and then putting a path from about here, somewhere over here, and then putting like a plaza where the house is at the moment. But yeah, I'm gonna tear the house down most likely before next episode, or by the next episode. And then I'm also planning on building this out, or like putting this shell on. So I'm thinking at the moment I'm gonna go kind of with a Parthenon style, but using the same block palette from over here. I may add like copper or something, but at the moment I don't have a whole lot of copper. For technical stuff, I'm planning on putting a sugarcane farm in this area. I'm gonna try to future-proof it so that I can auto-craft things like paper and sugar, and then bone block. So I'm thinking, I just store sugarcane and then I produce paper and sugar and whatever excess is like made into bone meal and stuff, and then auto-craft it into bone block. But I want to make the sugarcane big enough so it can produce all four. And then also, I'm planning on putting like a librarian trading hall right next to it, or like attached to it. And then, yeah, because I want to build it so big, but also I don't want to obstruct the view of this guy. I'm thinking I'm gonna dig out a hole here and just nest the sugarcane farm inside. Yeah, those are the plans for next episode. Now that the wall is all completed, I wanted to wrap up this episode and get it out. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. See ya.